Now our top story tonight, PG&E and Southern California Edison get the okay to raise rates.
But the increases are only a fraction of what the utilities had been asking for. The Public Utilities Commission voted unanimously for a 9% increase in residential rates, the average person. 7 to 15% for business rates. That's effective now. Wall Street reacted negatively. PG&E stock dropped 29% on the heels of another big loss yesterday. Both utilities had their credit ratings downgraded. PG&E is predicting bankruptcy unless the governor and lawmakers somehow intervene. With the prospect of blackouts and bankruptcy for PG&E, Nightbeat's Tom Sinkovich joins us with a report on what's next for the utility. Tom, I should have said blackouts for us, bankruptcy for PG&E.
Yeah, well, Pete, some ideas are being shaped by the tremendous urgency to relieve the pressure on the utilities. Today, PG&E was paying 30 cents for every kilowatt hour of power it bought. 30 cents compared to 4.5 cents last year on this date. And the utilities' debt grew by millions more. If there's one issue on which all sides in this dispute agree, it's the first step. And that's to stop the power suppliers from ripping off utilities and their customers.
It's affecting all Californians, and it's imperative to our state and our economy that we get this problem fixed.
The amount of money that has been pulled out of this state to generators in Texas and Georgia and North Carolina is staggering. I mean, it's economic warfare against California.
How can obvious price gouging be stopped? A federal court in Washington could step in as early as Friday to force the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, known as FERC, to impose caps on what energy suppliers can charge. Refunds could also be ordered. There are growing calls for the state legislature to get involved.
I think the legislature needs to immediately establish a California Power Authority.
And consumer advocates kept pressure on Governor Gray Davis, saying it's time he used his powers to get tough.
The immediate solution to the problem of pirates, out-of-state and in-state energy suppliers price gouging, the immediate solution is to go into those plants and seize them and take them over to protect the public health and safety.
And what about the billions of dollars of PG&E IOUs? The rate increase approved by the PUC bought time. There was discussion on several fronts of allowing the utility to sell bonds to refinance its debt. Among the few things certain at this stage of the crisis, the energy emergency is priority one across the state, and the system that created the debacle is on its last legs.
Deregulation is dead. I'll say it again, deregulation is dead.
In Washington, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, continues meeting for a third day with utilities and power producers trying to negotiate long-term contracts. And there is word that a meeting is being arranged for next Tuesday at the White House between California officials and Energy Secretary Bill Richardson. The subject to be discussed, wholesale power price caps. So momentum is obviously growing every day. Pete?
Well, certainly political momentum, Tom, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Wall Street was not impressed with the PUC's action today. As we said, 2 credit rating services downgraded PG&E, and investors started selling the stock. It closed at $12 a share. That's down 29%.
Well, if PG&E and Southern California Edison were upset over today's PUC decision, so were many of the customers. In fact, many consumers made their feelings known on the street outside the PUC hearing room.
Hell no, we won't pay. Hell no, we won't pay.
To these protesters, no rate increase is justified. They say ratepayers should not foot the bill for energy deregulation, which the utilities favored when it was approved by the state legislature a few years ago. Of course, few people enjoy paying more for life's essentials, so it's not surprising that the reaction we got on the street was overwhelmingly negative. That is our sound of the night tonight.
It's bad not only for me, but for every senior that lives in this city, because anyone that pays for electricity is going to be penalized. And with the elderly, it's a decision that they have to make, whether they want the lights on or whether they want food on their table.
Until we find out what's really going on, at least they're not gouging us, with this 20 this, 20 that, 30 that percent.
Obviously don't want to pay more than I have to, but I understand the reasons why they have to raise the rates in the short term. Be interested to see what the governor does to improve things in the long term.
It's bad enough we live in the most expensive city, or one of them in the world, but to have the PG&E go up, that's just crazy.
I really have never had any trust whatsoever in the whole deregulation tendencies in industry, and I think this is a good example of what can go wrong and what has gone wrong.
People like me who are like struggling just to make ends meet in San Francisco right now, it's just going to make things harder.
Well, even before the rate increase, Californians paid significantly more for electricity than customers in other western states. The rate here, 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour, compared with a little over 6 cents in Oregon and 5 cents in Washington. Nevadans pay 7.4%. People in Arizona shade under 9. In Hawaii, where it seems everything is higher, customers pay 16.7 cents. Stay with KRON 4 for continuing coverage of the energy crisis, and join us Monday night at 8 p.m. for a 1-hour special Power Play, we call it. We'll talk with the key players from the PUC, PG&E, and yes, the power generators, the ones making these huge profits, and of course, consumer groups as well. If you have questions for the group, we'll be at Serramonte Mall in Daly City on Saturday to get your take on the energy crisis. Join us between noon and 1 o'clock. We'll record your questions, answer them Monday night, hopefully, during our Power Play special.
Troubling signs in the nation's economy brought dozens of top high-tech business executives to Austin, Texas today. They are there for 2 days of meetings with President-elect Bush. They came bearing scars of a slumping stock market. The companies these executives lead lost more than $1 trillion in market value from their peak. The word from President Bush to the executives and to the American high-tech investors is keep the faith.
I do think people that have invested in this industry are in the long term going to realize, good gains on the money they've invested, because this is the leading edge of thought in the world.
Mr. Bush says that he does not think yesterday's cut by the Federal Reserve in interest rates negates his call for a big tax cut.
Early figures just after Christmas had holiday sales up a few percentage points, but now come new figures, and they show sales actually declined a tiny amount, 0.1%, but that makes it the worst season in a decade. Several big retailers will report fourth quarter earnings below estimates, and Sears is closing 89 unperforming stores, though most of that's not related to the bad holiday sales. The situation is grim, too, for eToys and many other online businesses. eToys is consolidating warehouses across the country, slashing its staff by 2/3. That translates to 700 people. The company is closing its European operations completely.
Well, the economic news is not all gloomy. Mortgage rates are falling, and that's good news for people who are just getting into the housing market, as well as those who own homes now. Just since October, the rate on 30-year fixed mortgages has fallen nearly a full percentage point to 7.07%, and that has homeowners looking into refinancing.
Anyone who purchased in the last year, it definitely makes sense to refi now. Rates need to be about 0.5% lower than your current rate to offset the costs.
30-year fixed mortgage rates have ranged between 6.5% and 10% in the past decade. Many industry analysts expect that those rates will continue to fall in the first half of this year.
A lot more ahead on Night Beat tonight. Coming up, the drug that's still gaining popularity in the club scene. A live report from San Jose next.
Also, the tiny crustacean with a bad attitude and a set of pinchers to match.
And Trouble for George, the magazine founded by JFK Jr. You're watching KRON 4, the 24-hour news station.
Tonight, Jay's all new with Tom Hanks, who reveals some first aid tips he learned while shooting Castaway.
Take a hot stick and stick it in there.
Plus, actress Julia Stiles and headlines.
This must come with Firestone tires, the Ford Exploder.
Then on Conan, Dave Chappelle, Meredith Vieira, and the triumphant return of Triumph, all new tonight.
They hide in the shadows, under bridges, and in the alleys. Some people call them throwaways. Can you imagine how it must feel when your own parents don't want you? When I took over Crossroads, it was a shelter for teens, and it was pretty run down. So we started a project to rebuild, to make it a real home for the kids. Trouble was, we ran short of money before we could even get the roof up. I didn't know where to turn. That's when I called the Philip Morris companies, and they sent us a Christmas present. It covered everything.
The Philip Morris companies know there are many people in jeopardy. That's why over the last 4 decades, we've contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to programs that can make a difference in someone's life.
Now the kids take pride in their home. Philip Morris didn't forget about us either. Whenever we've needed support, they've come through. They've helped me turn a homeless teen shelter and to a home.
Working to make a difference. The people of Philip Morris.
Do you know what people are most afraid of?
A legend.
What they don't understand.
Who turned his back on the world.
If I ask you not to say anything to anybody.
An athlete with a hidden gift.
And if I asked you to keep helping me with my writing?
Together, they will challenge each other.
Perhaps you'll amaze even me.
And change the system. From the director of Good Will Hunting, Sean Connery.
You're the man now, dog.
Finding Forrester. Rated PG-13. Now playing in select theaters. Starts January 12th everywhere.
Crown and Bay TV invite you to a fabulous benefit premiere for what'll be the hottest show in town, the Sing-Along Sound of Music, Thursday, February 8th at the Castro Theater.
A report on drug use in America from the White House today. Drug czar Brian McCaffrey says overall drug abuse and drug-related murders are down, as well as drug use by teens. The bad news is the use of the club drug, ecstasy, is way up. Night Beat's Wallace Alvear is live in San Jose with more on that. Wallace?
Well, Pete, Barry McCaffrey released his final drug report before stepping down as the National Drug Policy Director tomorrow. And while the use of cocaine, methamphetamines, and other drugs are down not only among adults, but also among teens, that is not the case for ecstasy.
How many of you guys have ever experimented with ecstasy?
Like so many young adults, 21-year-old Christine Paul is familiar with ecstasy, the so-called love or pleasure drug, commonly found at all-night rave parties.
Ecstasy is more like you just want to move and you want to dance and you want to be into what's going around along around you. You're off in your own little place and you're not paying attention. You're just like happy and everything.
It's no accident users feel happy, says Gabrielle Antolovich, Executive Director of the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependency here in San Jose.
What happens with ecstasy is it gives you a splash of serotonin, which is a chemical in the brain that actually stops you from being depressed.
According to a new government report, ecstasy is fast becoming the drug of choice of young people.
It started in the Netherlands and Belgium. It was an East Coast drug. Now it's widespread, explosive increase in exposure among our children.
National Drug Policy Director Barry McCaffrey says many mistakenly believe it's harmless.
I'm here to tell you guys that it's not a joke.
Christine Paul knows better now after taking this drug intervention class.
When you come down, it's awful. You have backaches, you're tired, a lot of people have attitudes, you're not yourself.
Coming down may be awful, but the drug's effects can be permanent.
What happens is that your brain chemistry gets thrown off, and one dose can throw your brain chemistry off forever. And that means the brain can't adjust to going back to normal.
McCaffrey says drug treatment and education is key, and he's confident that the new Bush administration will continue work on prevention efforts, Pete.
All right, Wallace Alvear, thanks a lot.
Well, a killer shrimp is on the loose in Monterey. That is one 4-inch-long mantis shrimp. It's causing problems, killing prized crabs, sea snails, and barnacles in this ecosystem at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. The workers are having trouble catching the shrimp with its hammer action claws. They believe that this non-native crustacean arrived at the aquarium in a shipment of display rocks last April. Its partner in crime, another mantis shrimp, was caught back in November.
If you read the whole story in the Chronicle this morning, this thing is absolutely frightening and fascinating at the same time. It's amazing. When we come back, the snow surveyors check out our summer water supply. Their findings next.
Also, the winter blaze in Southern California still burning tonight.
But first, we might be coming to the end of our dry spell. We might. Steve with a forecast.
Just like your power bill, your long-distance phone rates are skyrocketing. But there are some saving secrets your phone company didn't tell you about. Tomorrow at 6, Contact 4 is simple ways to cut your long-distance bill. Tomorrow at 6 on News Center 4.
Hi, I'm Wendy Takuda from News Center 4 and host of Bay TV's Bookmark.
And I'm Sean Estes of the San Francisco Giants.
Crown and Bay TV would like to ask for your support for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society's Northern California chapter.
Multiple sclerosis is a disease that attacks the central nervous system and can make it difficult to do simple things like move your arms or legs.
Through the National MS Society's Readathon program, elementary and middle school students can help raise funds to fight this disease.
When you sign up, you'll be sent a kit that tells you how to get family and friends to sponsor each book you read.
The more you read, the more money you raise to help fight MS.
You'll also have a chance to win prizes. The student who raises the most money earns an FAO Schwartz shopping spree and gets to throw out the first pitch at a Giants game.
It's a great way to have fun reading and at the same time to help a good cause. To sign up or to get more information, call 1-800-FIGHT-MS.
That's 1-800-344-4867.
Visit your Northern California Toyota dealer today.
Ski tips from North Star at Tahoe, Sierra at Tahoe, and your Toyota dealer.
Hi, I'm Kevin Mitchell with this week's Good Things to Know. On sunny days, be sure to drink water and apply sunscreen on a regular basis. And always wear sunglasses or goggles. Safeguard yourself from the elements and you'll enjoy yourself up here at North Star and Sierra at Tahoe.
Check out the Land Cruiser today at your Northern California Toyota dealer.
Lately, the whole world has its eye on an orchard where they're growing something called the new economy. Things move pretty fast here, except on the 101. We've been here from the beginning, and we'll be here to bring you the story 24 hours a day. Whether it's news that will change your morning commute, or news that will change the world. News Center 4, 24-hour news.
State water resource officials made their first snowpack measurements of the season today, and after a dry December, the results are what you would expect. Snow levels are 40% of normal, and the water content of the snow is half of normal. But the levels are still above those of a year ago. And officials also point out and remind us, last year, January and February produced enough storms to raise those snow levels to normal.
Except that those were extremely abnormal January and February rains that we got. Or am I wrong, Steve?
They were a little above. They were a little above. I really want to be happy, and it's really nice of him to throw some cold water on all the good news we can bring sometimes, Pam, isn't it?
Yes.
You can always count on him to look at the bright side of everything. We've got a couple of months to go, so there's no worries yet. We've certainly been enjoying some nice weather around here. I know, I've been calling it guilty pleasure, but it's true. Chilly overnight in the #1 headline there. Pleasant day set for tomorrow, but we do have a change in the pattern instead of the consecutive dry days. Talk about consecutive days. Make it 3 in a row for records around here. Oakland and Kentfield in our neighborhood. Salinas, though, 77 degrees on this January 4th. Here are the rest of the highs from today. Most temperatures got into the middle 60s. San Francisco at 65, San Jose 65, Fremont. You folks, how about 67 degrees? Not too shabby. Okay, here's the satellite picture. You'll see all the moisture running to the north. We continue with this blocking high. That's what's been making it warm. That's what's also been keeping it dry. This high is pretty much just kind of taken over the west. That's going to slide off in the outlook going into the weekend. We're going to see some cooler air coming in here slightly tomorrow, but more so for Saturday and Sunday. And more to the point, looks like Sunday is going to be on the wet side because there's another system queuing up back out here. In fact, back to the satellite picture, and I'll show you. You can start seeing the system coming up and around the corner. See the cloudiness here? That's starting to gather together as it starts following the jet stream, and the pattern will take it into the Bay Area by as early as Sunday afternoon, but more likely on Sunday night. And then it looks like maybe some light rain, moderate rain, maybe into Monday as well. If you're traveling tomorrow, looks pretty good. Sunny skies up and down the state with the exception of right at the north coast with some mostly cloudy conditions. Of course, it stays mild around here. As for the Bay Area, well, looks like temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower 60s tomorrow. San Francisco at 61, San Jose 62 degrees. How about Antioch? Little fog in the morning should keep temperatures down at 58, 60 degrees in Santa Rosa. And one final forecast for you. How about the Raiders game? Looks fine. You know, I'm talking about rain this weekend, but not for Saturday. So it looks like 58 degrees, some sunshine. Looks like a fine time to cook some fish. Here's the story with the extended forecast. You'll notice I've got the sunshine up. Got the clouds coming in on Sunday then with some raindrops. And then it looks like the pattern does break with some off and on showers beginning into the first part of the week. So maybe we'll pick it right up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll see.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot. Well, next on Night Beat, firefighters on the attack in Southern California still trying to stop the march of that huge wildfire.
And confirmation hearings get underway for the president-elect's new cabinet.
want you to be quiet or I'm going to throw you out, unless you're taking something so that you can't control yourself. You know what I'm talking about? I know what I'm talking about.
Judge Judy.
The decision is mine at 4:30, only on Channel 4.
Some trucks haul dirt. Some trucks haul bricks. Some trucks haul gluteus maximus. The new 210 horsepower, supercharged Nissan Frontier.
Sleep all night, need news for my day.
Morning traffic is always a mess.
Morning's busy, I'm on my way.
Weather is unpredictable.
Come, Mr. Weatherman, telling me the weather.
So stay informed or stay in bed.
For the bay, for the bay, for the bay, oh.
Watch Daybreak beginning at 5 on Channel 4. That should be enough to get you started.
I'm Emerald Ye with a Contact 4 energy tip. Setting your thermostat at 68 uses half the energy as when it's at 75. When you go to bed, turn it down to 55 or off altogether. More tips ahead on the 24-hour news station.
There's a new Smash Mouth football team coming to San Francisco. The Demon. They're gonna kick butt and take names, pushing themselves to the extreme. Passing drill. Blocking drill. Obstacle course. Oh, and did we mention no fair catches? Tickets on sale now. Great seats at $25 or less. Call 1-866-4-XFL-TICKS. The XFL February.
Красота увядает глупость остается.
Jeb jitreho, to chupraho.
人なしにおしっこしといてさ、雨だなんて言わないでよ。
In any language.
Ho sentito abbastanza. Sono giunta a una decisione. A little common sense goes a long way.
She's television's ruling force. Judge Judy, ruler of the free world.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 4:30 on Channel 4.
Doesn't look like how much stupid written here.
Almost 2,000 firefighters are still battling an out-of-control blaze in Southern California. Investigators now think that a cigarette thrown out of a car ignited the fire. Flames have devoured more than 10,000 acres, at least 4 homes near Alpine, about 30 miles east of San Diego. The investigators say the blaze was caused by a smoker who carelessly tossed that cigarette from a car on Interstate 8 into fierce Santa Ana winds, 65 miles an hour. The fire's 25% contained. Yesterday's winds that fueled the flames have died down. That's helped. Replaced by calmer, humid gusts from the Pacific. That's helped. Firefighters hope to have full containment by Saturday.
I would expect, though, if the wind continues to cooperate, we'll be here another 3 or 4 days on mop-up and making sure the fire is contained.
Hundreds of people remain evacuated from their homes.
Commerce Secretary-designate Donald Evans today was the first Bush cabinet nominee to get a Senate confirmation hearing. He received a warm welcome from both the Democrats and the Republicans in the Senate Commerce Committee, who say that Evans will have no trouble getting confirmed. Evans is a Texas oil man and a close friend of George W. Bush. George Magazine calls it quits. The politics and lifestyle magazine founded by the late John F. Kennedy Jr. is folding. Publishers say circulation is up, but ad revenues are down. The news comes just a year and a half after Kennedy was killed in a plane crash. The final issue will appear in March. It will be a special tribute to JFK Jr. And MTV is taking 17 hours out of its programming next week for a television memorial. The station will run a continuous commercial-free list of hate crime victims starting at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. The move was spurred in part as a response to MTV's role in the rise of rapper Eminem, who has criticized anti-gays and many others in his lyrics and rap songs.
Next in sports, an unbelievable shot at a high school basketball game, and the Stanford man in the Pac-10 opener. Gary next, Round 4.
Jacobson's got 2 more.
critics agree Traffic is the best picture of the year.
We need to take down one of these cartels.
A gripping edge-of-your-seat thriller.
The border's disappearing. It's gonna be a free-for-all.
It's all about the money.
2 big thumbs up for this powerful epic.
How am I gonna survive this?
The most exciting movie of the year.
Let's do some more.
Just tell me where my daughter is.
Nominated for 5 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Picture of the Year. Traffic, rated R. Now playing in LA and New York. Tomorrow everywhere.
Hi, I'm Jan Wall. If you're like me, you grew up singing I Am 16, Going on 17, and other memorable hits from The Sound of Music. Now Kron and Bay TV invite you to discover the musical phenomena Sing-Along Sound of Music. The most successful movie musical of all time comes to San Francisco with subtitles, so everyone can join in. A benefit premiere and costume contest for Frameline will be held at the Castro Theater on Thursday, February 8th. Join us as we sing our hearts out. Me, a name I call myself.
I'm Emerald Ye with a Contact 4 energy tip. If you can't afford to buy a new energy-efficient refrigerator just yet, at least make sure your seals are intact and clean your coils regularly. Otherwise, your fridge will have to work that much harder.
Coming soon. Lifetime, the network that brought you cable's 2 top-rated primetime original dramas, Strong Medicine and Any Day Now, presents another powerful original series, The Division. San Francisco detectives, each with her own story, each struggling with commitments to their job, to their family, to each other. The Division, only on Lifetime. 5 women, 1 code, justice. Coming soon to Lifetime. Check your local listings.
If you buy one of those huge new SUVs, you might want to plan on a new garage, too. But with Dodge Durango's best-in-class available Magnum V8 power, plenty of room inside and just right size outside, you don't have to rearrange your life just to fit an SUV into it. Durango. Different. And just right.
Now, Gary Radnich, News Center 4 Sports.
Good evening, everybody. Can you remember a football player who has made the trek from on the field to the broadcast booth to the general managership of an NFL franchise? Matt Millen now has. Millen, the former 49er and Raider linebacker, will become general manager of the Detroit Lions. Known for his aggressive personality, Millen was always a favorite guest. He showed leadership even then.
All day long I've been getting on these offensive linemen. Right, now that one I told me was a fat slob and couldn't block him if he wanted to. That's Stan Brock, and right there Stan told me I was getting a little bit too old for this. And the last guy walked by me, I said to him, I don't even know who you are, but I know you can't block me.
All right, Millen has broadcast commitments this weekend. The official Detroit announcement should come sometime next week. New Redskin coach Marty Schottenheimer, as an ESPN commentator, said he couldn't work for an interfering owner like that fella, Dan Snyder. $10 million later, Schottenheimer today said,
I believe in Marty. I obviously didn't have enough information about Dan Snyder.
That may be that. Isn't that great? No, I love that, huh? Now that's funny. Yeah. That is very good. So good luck to Marty and his 10 mil. Instead of Raider and Dolphin players saying how tough Saturday's playoff game will be, here comes the last time the 2 teams met at Oakland in a playoff game, 1974, the now legendary Sea of Hands affair.
And then there is always the Raiders' unrivaled tradition of great comebacks. And what could have been more memorable than the final second Ken Stabler to Clarence Davis pass in the classic playoff win over the Miami Dolphins?
Well, I wanted it back after I got hit, but if I wouldn't have been hit, I think I could have got a little more on the ball and maybe zipped it in there and it wouldn't have looked so bad. But it worked out, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it's the first time in 20 years, Saturday, we won't be talking about all the old days of the Raiders. There's something to look forward to right now. Really? And the man with that great voice, John Facenda, was a star anchor man in Philadelphia.
In Philly, right, for a long time.
Can you see Pete, if Pete ever gets tired of the makeup?
I don't have a voice like that. That's an amazing voice.
Now we'll buy you one.
Except the way you pronounce it, Raiders was spelled R-A-D-A-S.
The Raiders. Raiders, all right. The Raiders are a solid 9-point favorite for Saturday's game. Dick Vermeil, after a year away, appears ready to return as Kansas City coach as soon as some form of agreement can be worked out with his old St. Louis team. Sharks in Colorado tonight. They've been struggling of late. San Jose, Stephane Matteau, he beats Patrick Watt. Right here, Sharks had a 2-1 lead in the third period. But just 2.5 minutes later, Ray Bourque, one of the all-time great Boston Bruins, now working out west here, he scores on the power play to tie it at 2. And in overtime, the Sharks have a chance to win it. We're tied at 2 in overtime. But here is, no. One goal denying Jeff Friesen. Game ends in a 2-2 tie.